So you're scrolling through Zillow and you find that perfect home for $300,000. But how much is that per month? Well, in this video, we're going to check out 5 different homes, and I'm going to show you how to calculate that monthly mortgage payment. You're going to be shocked at the end of the video at the wide range of payments you'll see for the exact same price home. We're going to get into it right now. Hey, Daniel here, your Austin area realtor. I apologize for the background right now. I'm in the process of moving into our new home in about a month. And so the background's not gonna be pretty for the next few weeks videos. If you're a renter considering buying your first home, please reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns, or you're just kind of not quite sure how this all works. When you reach out to me, I don't charge anything. The way it works for me is I only get paid when we close on a home, and even then I typically negotiate the sellers to pay my fee. So please, that's the number one thing when people first reach out. They're like, how much do I owe you? It's like, nothing. Like, I'm here to help you, guide you through that process. But I wish I had talked to a realtor sooner in my life. Before I became a realtor, I was a teacher for 10 years. And when I was a teacher, I rented for 10 years. And no one had told me, what I know now. And yeah, I kicked myself thinking about how much money I would have made if I just decided to buy a house instead of renting and changing that each time. But I just didn't know, I didn't know what I didn't know. So please reach out if you're in that same boat and you're kind of just curious. Do I qualify for a mortgage? What's the benefits of doing this? Is the market good for me to do that right now, or should I keep my rent? Because it's not the same answer for everyone. Everyone's situation is different. But yeah, you can find my contact info in the description below. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. Be happy to help you in any way I can. All right, let's jump into the video. Okay, so I've pulled up 5 different homes. You can see they're all pretty much $300,000, but they are very different areas. So you can look on a map. We have one up in Temple, downtown Austin, further west, Spicewood near the lake, near San Marcos, and then out in Bastrop. Okay, so let's go one by one. And at the end of the video, we're going to kind of compare and contrast like how much of a difference there is in potential monthly payments. Okay, so what makes up the monthly payment? Well, the principal and the interest is number one. So the loan amount, which we're going to change in a second. And then the interest rate, we're going to have to kind of see what the market is today, but that changes daily. And then your taxes and insurance. Insurance, we're going to keep the same for all of these. Taxes is going to change. So looking at the first one, we're looking at the home in Temple. $299,000. Its tax rate is 2.3125. And there is no HOA, which is rare. So let's plug that in. 299. And we're going to do this 2 different ways. We're going to start with someone who is maybe a first-time home buyer. They don't have a lot for a down payment. They can only do 3.5%, perfectly normal. The interest rate for an FHA, what does that look like today? 30-year FHA, 6.44. So let me put that here. 6.44 interest rate, 30-year. We will negotiate. The seller pays the buyer's agent, or pays for the agent's fee. That's all negotiable. Typically, it's still happening though in the market. And then the tax rate for Temple, or for this specific neighborhood in Temple, is 2.3125 is what I had on there. There was no HOA, and let's say we're going to be closing in a month roughly. New home for Christmas, what we got? So we're looking at 2,722. Now, what happens to that number if we can do a larger down payment? Because you can see here, MIP, that's mortgage insurance premium. You pay that if the loan is more than 80% of the equity of the home, so the value of the home. So if you can do 20% down, we'll do a conventional loan now. If you can do 20% down, typically you'll want to do the that route for 20%. Interest rate for that, 7.05. I don't need to keep changing that. It doesn't change your mortgage payment. Taxes, yep, stay the same, cool. Now we're looking at 2,345. So quite a sizable difference, about $400 a month difference if you're able to do that. Now, that's also a bigger, way bigger chunk of change for a down payment. Don't look at this number too closely. With the market, I don't want to get into that number today, but basically we can negotiate in this market for the seller to pay a lot of your closing costs. So what you would bring to close is lower than that. You can contact me directly if you want specific information about that. I have other videos too where I talk about that. We're really just looking at monthly mortgage payment. So cool, that's the first one. We're gonna have that down. At the end of the video, we will have these side by side. So you can really just get a sense of like, wow, there's a wide range in this. So that was the first home in Temple. Now let's look at this next one. We have one in Bastrop. Okay, this home listed at exactly 300,000, 1.5377. That's a very low property tax rate, and no HOA again, which again is rare. So what happens with this one? Let's see. Now we're gonna do 300,000 exactly. We'll stay with the 20% for now. And we said tax rate for this was 1.5377. And no HOA. So 20% down for this home, basically the same amount down. You are paying $2,159 a month. Now, if we change this to a 3%, or excuse me, 3.5 FHA loan, yep. And again, that was 6.44% for the interest rate today. Again, these change daily. And that went up to 2,537. So you can already see this one is much lower than that we saw in Temple, purely because the property tax rate is much lower in this specific suburb. I will say for property tax rates, it is not city by city. Okay, that's a common misconception. So don't take away from this video that Bastrop has a lower tax rate than Temple. It might overall, but it really depends on the suburb that you're in. A quick 10-second example for me, I live in a new construction neighborhood and my tax rate is 2.7%. It's quite high because we have to pay for something called a MUD, a municipal utility district, basically a loan that was taken out to develop the land that we're kind of paying off in our taxes, okay? Right next door to me is a KB home neighborhood, new construction, and their tax rate is 1.9% because they don't have a MUD. So, and that's a 2-minute walk. So it doesn't matter kind of where you are. We're both Austin addresses, but because they don't have that MUD, they have a much lower tax rate than me. So it really depends on a house by house situation. Okay, let's look at the next one. Next is downtown. So this property, we can look at some of the photos. This is a very small condominium, 2-bedroom, but you are downtown. Okay, now with condominiums, you are going to be paying a very high HOA fee. You can see here, they have a lobby. It's like that, they're a laundromat. Yeah, so this is going to be the smallest property by far. The tax rate is 1.81, pretty good. But then that HOA fee is $739 monthly, which is nuts to me. So let's plug those numbers in. Maybe if you really want to live downtown, you're paying a premium for that. And if it's not the price, because this is a pretty reasonable price for living downtown, it's going to be, they're going to get you some other way. And in this case, it's the HOA monthly fee. 1.81, 739 monthly, 299,500. Okay, so This property, $299,500. We'll do 3.5% down. Tax rate for this one was 1.81. And then that HOA fee, $739. I pay $70 a month, by the way. This is more than 10 times what I pay. And for those of you who are like, yeah, but you don't get a lot. It's like, well, I got 2 infinity pools, a gym, a large dog park, very fancy. I have my own washer dryer. Look at me, not having to go to the laundromat. So it's, you know, for me, this is overpriced, but I also don't care if I live downtown or not. I'm fine making that 20-minute drive. All right, so for this one with a 3.5% down payment, we're looking at $3,340. If you want the 20% down payment, let's see what that looks like. Do 20% down. The interest rate, I have the memory of a goldfish, 7.05. 0.05. Cool. So with that, we're looking at $2,963. Still, with 20% down, that is the highest monthly payment we've seen so far today, okay? For a 20% down. So let's look at the next one. Maxwell. So Maxwell's right outside of San Marcos, Kyle area, okay? Actually a slightly higher tax rate. San Marcos is known to have much lower tax rates in general. This one's 2.05, 420 annually, so $60 a month, roughly. I don't know if I got that math exactly right. I think I did. Something like that. So with this property, more common single-family home, luxury vinyl plank flooring, granite countertops. Looks like we have a pretty good amount of space here. Nice backyard, a little shed in the back. Yeah, 1,400 square feet, 3 bed, 2 bath. Cool, very typical home. How much would this one cost? So this one is listed at $299,990. $299,990. We'll stick with the 20% down payment first. And the tax rate was 2.05. And they do $420 annually. Comes out to 2,322. Okay. We did 3.5% down instead. Interest rate is 6.44. Oh, come on. Sometimes this app resets. I'm gonna put 6.44 before I forget. We were doing an FHA loan. It's 6.44. Down payment 3.5%. This one was $299. Why is my memory so bad? $299,990. 90. Very minimal difference that's going to do. Tax rate for this one, 2.05. And HOA was $420 annually. Oh, closing date. That shouldn't have changed it, but let's just put it here just to be safe. Okay, so we're looking at $2,700. All right, last one, and then we're gonna talk about the highest and lowest kind of the range we're looking at. Last one that I pulled, kind of random $300,000 home, was up in Temple. This is 1,300 square feet, 2 bed, 2 bath, 0.6 acres. So this is a much larger lot. This is more land than house. Yeah, not the prettiest pictures. Again, what you're buying for this is a lot of space. Oh, and they have extra things. you know, outside of the house. So very different. I have that carport. This one, 1.6334, no HOA. Beautiful. So 299,900. Interest rate stays the same. Taxes for this property, 1.6334. Quite low. Basically anything under 2% or in the Austin area is pretty low. And then there's no HOA. We're more rural with this property. So this one is 2,560. Now if we're able to do a 20% down payment, interest rate 7.05, I remembered. Taxes of that, no HOA. Yeah. 2,182. Cool. So what we got from this, looking at the map here, is $300,000 home. Various, you can see the square foot range. We're going from that teeny tiny 880 square foot condo downtown up to the first home we saw, 2,162, large home. Different acreage sizes. The second home, lots of land, 1.4, and that last home in Temple, 0.6, down to 0.008, right, for a condominium, teeny tiny. So very different, built in 66, built in 2019, 4-bedroom, 2-bedroom, wide range, but they're all the same price. With that, we've learned that the price range, and we can see it on the screen right here, the price range is between, what's the lowest? Lowest looks like 2,159. That was 20% down on that Bastrop home that we found. And then the highest was 3,340. That was 3.5% down on that downtown condominium. So a massive range, that's $1,200 range there, which you would think that's almost like it's a different house, a different price point. But it's not. It's, depending on how much you can do as a down payment, and then the tax rate makes a huge difference. And then of course the monthly HOA fee. So these are things to take into consideration. I don't want you looking at a $300,000 home being like, okay, that's about this. It's like, well, it could be anywhere between $2,100 to $3,300. You really need to talk with a realtor or do your own research and figure out what's the tax rate for that specific property. Do they have any HOA fees? And then how much are you able to use as a down payment? The more you can do as a down payment, obviously the lower your monthly payment will be. So yeah, I hope this helps. And again, you can always reach out if you have any specific questions regarding any properties that you're interested in finding more out about. Thanks for making it to the end of my video today. I really do appreciate that. I have other videos on various parts of the Austin area. So if you're looking for vlog tours, map tours, different, renting versus buying in areas, there's a bunch there. And as always, please contact me directly if you have specific questions or you feel like you want help with your buying or selling journey in real estate. Again, doesn't matter if you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, you can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. Be happy to help you make that smooth move to your next home. Until next time, I hope to see you around town.